why don't we just start by introducing ourselves? So I'll go last, and I'll leave it for all of our guests to go first. We have some awesome participants on tonight's panel discussion. Mr. Christian Bradford, we'll have you go first, introducing yourself. Just tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do, and what you will bring to this conversation.
Sure. Again, my name is Christian Bradford. I'm a local high school teacher. I've been teaching now about 7 years. What I hope to bring to this conversation is kind of how the COVID-19 is impacting the world of education in regards to teachers, in addition to how it's impacting, our academics. How is it impacting our own social emotional state? How's it impacting our relationships with our students? Ultimately, how is it, impacting education and what we're looking for in the future of how things will look drastically different?
Nice. Thank you. Ihije, why don't you go next?
All right. My name is Higio Sunde. I'm a student at Casumas River College. What I hope to bring here to the conversation is, the impact of, of COVID-19 on college students, how some of the college students are dealing with it. And yeah, that's what I hope to bring to the conversation.
Thank you. Ayana?
Hi, my name is Yana Wilson, and hi.
I think there's a delay. You can go. You got it.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm Ayana Wilson. I'm hoping to bring to the table how COVID-19 is affecting high schoolers and how it's affecting their social life, academic life, and just emotionally. Yeah.
Nyla?
Hi, everyone. My name is Nyla DeVos. I'm a junior at the Rex and Margaret Fortune Early College High School. And today I will be speaking from a perspective of a dually enrolled student, a student who is both in high school and in college, and how COVID-19 has impacted me socially, emotionally, and academically as well.
Nice. And I, of course, am Danae Starks, and I'm the owner of Diversif-I Education Group. We're an education nonprofit. Essentially, we're kind of like an adult charter school. Kind of the way that we operate and the way we do things is more on the level of adult education, but we also have mentoring programs. We have peer recovery programs. We have all types of things available for those out there in the community to take part in and to be a part of, really. So we do have a YouTube channel, and we have a show called Cross Conversations, and our conversations, we talk about just real-time issues, real life stuff, and just relate it back to the cross. Tonight's conversation is called Every Voice Matters. This is a teen panel discussion. We've seen a lot in the media about COVID-19 and how it's impacted everybody. I haven't too much seen many conversations with young people and, them sharing the impact of how it's impacting young people. And so it was important to get that perspective. It's important that we hear that perspective. So we have just been joined by another participant, Mr. Jarenheim Jr. Would you mind saying hi and just kind of telling who you are and what you will bring to this conversation?
Hello, my name is Jarenheim Jr. and I am an 11th grader. I'm going to be bringing the social kind of aspect to the conversation.
Nice. Thank you. So we are just going to jump right in. We all know, we've seen the news, we've seen the media. We all know that COVID has had actually a really big impact on education. When the high school shut down that first weekend, when they shut down and there was a major basketball game, there was a prom, there was all kinds of things happening. A lot of people just didn't believe it was that serious. They didn't believe it was that big of a deal. But now we see that there has been a large impact. And so, let's talk about it. So how has COVID-19 affected you personally in regards to education? Chris, I know you come from an educator perspective, but also as a parent as well. So how have you been impacted on those two spectrums?
Well, I'll say first off, when we closed and the announcement came out on Saturday, it caught all of us off guard. That Elk Grove Unified was closing because we just didn't know. I mean, everyone had heard about the coronavirus. We knew that it would have some sort of impact, but when they sent out the announcement that said, "Hey, school's closed for this week," we had Sheldon and had a big basketball game coming up. They were going to the Final Four for the state or semifinals. Pleasant Grove High School prom was that evening. People, girls started getting their hair done, tuxes that had been rented, and it just, was canceled abruptly. So it caught us all off guard. As a parent, though, thankfully, like I say, I'm a teacher, so I didn't have to worry about care. But the first thought I had was, if I were not employed in education, and all of a sudden this is Saturday afternoon, and you're telling me I got to find care for my child for the whole week, and I only have one day to figure that out, that's a big issue. So it's definitely it's been a whirlwind. And it's something that we learn something new every day from it.
Yeah, thank you. Ihije, how about from the college perspective? You're at community college level. How have you been impacted?
Oh, it's been impacted daily. College, in general does offer like online classes, so there is that type of flexibility on it. But if you're like a STEM major like me, doing engineering, taking chemistry classes, math classes, it's kind of not ideal to take it as an online class. So especially at home, there could be a lot of distractions, and if you live in a smaller place, you do got a lot of you gotta find some leeway. You gotta find a place where you can concentrate, or else it could be it could be real difficult.
Yeah, Jaron, how about you? How's it impacted you?
It hasn't really impacted me because I'm already doing independent studies. So it's kind of been an easy transition for me to just, not go to campus once a week to just not going at all. So it's been easy because I've been able to connect with my teacher, often and stuff like that. But I do have family, and I do have a brother that was going to graduate, this year. And so seeing him not being able to, walk across that stage is very hard because I've seen what he's had to go through these last 4 years. And, I feel for anybody that isn't able to be able to walk across the stage. So.
Yeah, that's horrible. I couldn't imagine doing all that work and you cannot have a proper graduation. That's just it's just not okay. Ayana, how about you?
COVID has affected me just like academic opportunities. I feel like I was invited to do a lot of things over the summer, and it's like a lot of those things are just canceled. And like I have my own club, and I can't even like really reach out to my club members like that. And it's like I feel as though it's constricting academically because it's hard to learn if you're in a I don't personally have a bad environment to learn in. I have an amazing environment, but if you have a not so like positive home environment, it's hard. It's just like yeah
It is hard, and that's a good point about home environment because there has been a reported increase in abuse, in neglect, and all kinds of things going on in the home now that everybody's kind of stuck together. So that's a great point to make. Ms. Nyla, how about you?
Similar to Hige, all of my classes have been moved to virtual online. In the beginning, it was kind of a rocky transition because I had to now put myself on a new schedule. And it seemed like the work was taking a lot longer when I was doing it at home than when it was at school. But with patience and prayer, I got through it. So I couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So has it been difficult for you guys to get help when you need it? Like if you have questions or maybe there's some subjects you might need tutoring in or a little extra, assistance with. Has that been difficult since COVID has happened?
I can answer that. For me, for my communications class, already it was kind of hard because he was kind of behind on all of the assignments and what he needed to do. And so I'm emailing him, asking him for help, but he has also 30, 40 other students coming in emailing him. And we're not the only class that he's teaching. And he had only a week to transition from in person to online. So he hasn't, been able to respond back to my emails fast enough. So that definitely has been hard. So I've been having to figure a lot of things out on my own.
Yeah. Same with everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, mine was a lot of my classes are pretty self-explanatory. You just do the work. And a lot of my classes are online based already. Like we do a lot of work online. So it wasn't a very hard transition. However, it did affect like communications like communications like Nyla was saying, and just how we're unable to really have that in-person connection with our teachers and talk and discuss,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris, now coming from the teacher perspective, you went from a classroom size of so many students, right? And then now going online, is your classroom size bigger or is it smaller? Or is it about the same?
Well, I mean, essentially it's the same. We were essentially creating online classrooms based upon our classes that we already had. But the thing that's difficult as a teacher is, there's certain students and certain people just because of their own learning strategy, they need to be shown. They need to have the visual representation. They need it right in front of them, and you can only do that so much. And I can think of some students, off the top of my head that they struggle with the recorded lessons. They struggle with the video. They struggle, with the emailed assignments. But unfortunately, I can't go to them, and show them exactly what I'm referring to. And so, yeah, I think, for some of our students, they are able to do well and they were able to transition to online without a problem. And then other students, distance learning is not the appropriate method for them.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, what about, and this is for you, Christian, you may know more. The governor has put this thing out about doing away with testing and things like that. So is the goal just everybody's just going to move forward next school year and go up their next grade, or how's that going to work?
Yeah. So, long, answer shortened. Yes, every student will progress to the next grade level, essentially. And really that has to kind of be done, to kind of ensure equity because as it was kind of alluded to, everyone has different situations they have to learn in at home. Some students don't have a quiet environment. Some students don't have a dedicated workspace where they can do all their assignments, and it would be unfair to kind of punish them because of something they don't have. But the thing with testing that's just kind of getting into it is the states, they implement testing because it's requirements from the federal government. Federal government's only granted 1 year of testing exemption. So my thing, I'm thinking about going next year. What does testing look like next year? Because essentially kids are going to be making up a year and a half, and actually I don't even know how much you're going to make up because we don't know what schools are going to look like in the fall. So I think that kind of has to bring us to a greater conversation nationally to start saying, does standardized testing really meet the needs of our schools? And I personally don't, because I think you have some students who, they achieve great things. They maintain high GPAs, but when it comes time for a standardized test, or SAT or ACT, and all of a sudden, they're not reflected as well. And so I think, standardized testing, it shows one or two things. It shows either you have great privilege to where your families can afford to prepare you for that, or it shows someone that's really good at taking tests. But it doesn't show if you're a hard worker. It doesn't show, your intelligence. It doesn't show your motivation. And so that's something that we really have to kind of talk about, on a national scale as far as in education.
That's good. I like that. We could definitely talk about that some more. We have a whole cross conversation about that because I agree. Jaron, let's talk about your experience though, because you have a different experience where you are already kind of doing your independent thing. So you weren't necessarily going to a physical campus, right? But are you online, or is it just kind of go at your own pace? How does that work?
So it's basically like a go at your own pace. It's online. Everything's online. Um, you don't really have deadlines as long as you finish it before the semester or before the school year is over, whichever comes first. So um, it's set up a little bit more to where you can take your time. You can um, focus on what you need to be focusing on and stuff like that. But yeah, it's already like it's its own thing. Like I've heard
Hmm.
others people, they're like, oh, we have a deadline and I have to get this done by 11:59, and the independent studies is nothing like that.
Mm, okay. So for you, a major impact, like you said, would be more of a social aspect then, right? For the other aspects of life that you have going on outside of academics.
Right.
Yeah. Now, EJ, how have you been impacted with not being able to go to a campus? Like you said, being in a statistics major, and kudos to you, because I failed statistics 5 times before I passed it. So good job. We need more good teachers out there. But how has it really been that much of a struggle, or are there some areas, what areas have been most challenging because of the type of major that you have? You talked about distance learning presenting its own challenges because of the coursework you have. Have you been able to meet with teachers or do like one-on-one Zooms? How have you kind of been able to overcome some of those challenges?
Oh, as for the communications, communications is pretty good. I had any problems communicating with my professors or getting emails, as fast as I could. But like Chris was saying, distance learning. I prefer face-to-face interaction.
Yeah.
I'm not. If I only take an online class if it's like my last option. So it's yeah, it's been a struggle, but as from getting help, that's not a problem because recently too, CRC has also moved our math center online, our tutoring center online. So though I haven't been able to use it, but they are making the strides in order to give us the support, in order for us to be successful in this semester so far.
Now, Christian, there's been a lot of parents giving a lot of feedback about this because a lot of them just don't like it, right? Because a lot of them feel like I'm now the teacher, I got to work, I don't have time, I don't know how to do it. And so, what has been your experience from the parent perspective, or some feedback maybe that you can share that has been received, and how did you kind of contribute to resolving those kinds of situations?
Well, sure. I think a lot of parents, yeah, again, this has been a source of frustration, for a lot of parents, because you're essentially being thrust into a new role. Parents have to learn so much of what we implement. And, the best thing I can say is just takes time, to stay in constant communication with your child's teacher. We're definitely here to help. Um, as far as some negative things I've kind of seen, and it hasn't been a majority of parents, but I've definitely seen it in social media where you've had some parents who uh, almost think that teachers are kind of almost getting paid to do nothing at this time, and I just want to dispel that myth. Teachers are working harder than ever right now, because essentially, we had to change our whole method of learning, our whole method of teaching within a week or matter of a few weeks. We had to implement a whole new set of programs. We had to find a new way to reach our students. We had to develop new schedules, and we did this on the fly. And so yeah, I think teachers are working harder than ever. A lot of teachers I know are putting in more hours with distance learning than they would during traditional schools. So the biggest thing, I can say to parents is just stay in constant communication with teachers. We understand that, you're new to this. And a lot of teachers are being very flexible. If you run into, if you have problems, you don't understand something, we can help walk you through. We can share with you a number of resources we have. but again, we're all in this together. And I think, once we kind of take that approach that this is a village and we're part of the village, just like you're part of the village as a parent. Once we look at it's the child who, that's the ultimate responsibility we have. Then I think we can kind of take a step back, take a breather, and, and come to, find a resolution when there's one that's needed.
That's good. So let's talk about the personal life and social life, because this is like huge. So obviously there's no campus to go to. There's no hanging out with friends. You can't even go to the park and play basketball or, do something fun. They're talking about opening up some of that stuff now, but of course with restrictions. So how has this impacted you all socially? Let's start with Jaren, because I know you had a lot of things going on, but how has it impacted you socially?
It's impacted me socially a lot. I haven't been able to make as much money as I've been making and get as many calls, and church isn't open, and I think it's kind of like a wake up call for some people. I'm still young, but some people, that's their only job, is playing in church or playing, gigs or whatever. So they rely on people. They rely on people to show up and ticket sales and all this other stuff. So now that none of this is happening, it's kind of like a wow, okay, backup plan.
Yeah.
So people are trying to get it together, including myself. But we know, with faith to God, it's just a season, So
Mm-hmm. So tell us what your tell everybody what is the name. Do you have a group? How can people follow you guys?
So we don't have a name, but we do have a group, including myself, Jordan Sanders, Caleb Flowers, and DJ Barbie. We are a young band, and we've just been kind of coming up in the game, doing a few shows and stuff like that. And so you can find us just by typing in our names, because we don't have no like special, thing going on or anything like that.
Well, I'm
And
getting
you
old.
guys are good. Yeah, Caleb's my cousin, but
I'm looking.
they're good. That band is good. You guys are all really good. And I went to your show in, what was it, December or something like that, at Harlow's. And it was phenomenal. I mean, it just shows that young people can really do something positive. You don't have to be out there doing all kind of crazy stuff to have fun and things like that. So I really commend you all. And I know for a fact this has impacted churches, because like you said, there's no more physical church. So a lot of musicians that, that was their job, they're where they at now. There was no backup plan, no contingency plan. And I think that was the case for a lot of people. So let's go to Nyla.
Definitely similar to Jaren. There's no church, and I'm the youth president of my church's youth ministry. So we have had all these big plans since our February 2020 vision and planning meeting, and we weren't able to do the outreach that we wanted to do. We weren't able to have the youth Friday night lives and things of that nature that we wanted to do. I'm a big community girl, and I like to, bring the youth and young adults in our community together for a fun and positive safe time. And I just haven't been able to do that. So I've had to look at other avenues to do that. And I also want to come out really quick. So a few of my Fortune Scholars and I have decided to do the Fortune Scholars Care Project. And in this project, we're hosting a virtual face mask and latex glove drive for the 500 plus physicians, providers, and employees at Dignity Health's Mercy Midtown Hospital. Like I said, it's virtual, so you can find us on our Facebook page, and it's called Fortune Scholars Care Project. And in this, you can give a monetary donation with our Cash App information on there, or we have gave you the address and the attention to information where you can ship face masks and or gloves to those employees there.
That's awesome. Great way to advertise too. That's a good plug. But that's awesome though. That's great work. And, like you said, it's definitely changed the game for everything, everyday life. Ayana, how about you?
Honestly, just giving me a light, just opening me up to a lot more family time and just sharing time with my family. Though it has affected me personally, as just like you know, you can't go outside, you can't go hang out with friends, and I'm really big in my school community, so it really has affected me that way because I can't really do as much work as I do at school, and that really, you know, that obviously sucks. But it's really opened my eyes to see like there's a lot of people who are obviously like, you know, struggling to make it. So I've just been making face masks and trying to stay positive and trying to give like a word of encouragement to my fellow peers and just people that I care about, because it's hard. It's hard for everyone, you know. There's people who might be going through like mental illness, and it's like, yeah, this is a really rough time for them too. So just
Yeah, they said a lot of young people are going through some different mental challenges, as far as depression and, you know, suicidal thoughts and things of that nature. Have you guys come across any of that in conversation or on social media? Have you seen an increase in people or heard an increase in people like your peers or whatever talking about that kind of stuff?
Definitely. Especially at my school because we're already so rigorous. A lot of the students they aren't around their peers anymore, so they fear they're not as motivated as they usually are. So they're not attending the Google classrooms or they're not turning in their work, and so it's really devastating.
Yeah, definitely is. How about you, EJ?
The irony of it is, you know, naturally I'm an introvert, so I don't really talk that much, but like one thing I do miss, amongst the social life aspect of it, especially at school, is being out, as an engineering major, it's so math based and so rigorous, and you do meet a lot of friends, in those classes, and I kind of miss the struggles. I kind of miss the us struggling, us being anxiously waiting for our test scores, talking about helping us, helping one of us each together, but it's been it's been a struggle too, as for social media. You know, you do come across, especially on Twitter, you do come across people who are really social, who are extroverts, who actually they do miss being outside, they miss talking to their friends, they're mad because their summer plans are canceled. It's Yeah, it's a struggle for everyone. It's definitely a struggle.
Yeah, it definitely is. So you guys had what, junior prom or something this year, or would have had? Okay, not you don't. Ayana,
I'm not a junior, I'm sorry.
are you what, sophomore or senior?
Yes, ma'am. Sophomore.
Okay, and then Jaren's a junior, right? Do you guys? I know you do independent studies, but do you guys have like a prom or anything that was impacted?
Oh no.
Okay.
They were gonna have a prom, but no.
What about you, Christian? How has this impacted you socially?
Well,
from all kinds of perspectives, how this
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. Socially, social emotionally, yeah, this is big. I really think about teenagers because one of the biggest gateways for teenagers to really kind of express themselves is with social interaction with their peers, and to really cut down on that, because obviously FaceTiming or talking, by live chat, you're still able to see face to face, but a lot of people need that right next to you connection. A lot of teenagers, really need that going to, movies or going to the mall, going out to eat, whatever it is that you do, for, recreational leisure. So I really do feel that, something that, parents need to be mindful of with their kids. Actually, I made a post on Facebook today, pretty much geared towards parents, saying that if you feel that, your teenager is not really doing their work, don't think that they're just not motivated. They're genuinely dealing with some social emotional trauma and stress right now.
Yeah.
And I know it's kind of hard, as an adult to think, oh, all you're doing is not seeing your friends, but that is trauma inducing. I've never had that to where I was a teenager and I just couldn't hang out with my peers, couldn't see people for months at a time. And then I think as teachers, a lot of teachers, have to be mindful because teachers spend so much time in schools and in their classrooms and with their kids, and it just have all of that abruptly stop. It's not like we're summer where we kind of see it coming. A lot of teachers were blindsided. It's just, oh, by the way, you're not going in. So that last Friday that I saw those students, and I didn't even get a chance to encourage them like I would have wanted to, or teachers didn't get a chance to give the kids hugs, or wish them well, look out for the well-being. So it's something that we just have to be very mindful of and just take that in stride.
Yeah, those are all really good points. So from the emotional aspect, that was a good segue into the social emotional, because that stuff is huge. And it's a big deal right now. Everywhere. Everybody's dealing with the mental something. So I know, like, Jaren, you talked about, not being able to have your gigs and different things like that. Have you been inspired creatively at all to start writing more, or do you have any plans for birthing something out of this time in quarantine?
Yeah. So, first of all, let me just say I'm a horrible writer. But no, I've been doing a lot of work and a lot of brainstorming about well, me and my dad I've been on this thing called just staying ready so we don't have to get ready. You know what I'm saying? Because this day, like I said, it's a season. So when it passes, it's like we don't want to be left with our mouths open, like what are we supposed to do? You know what I'm saying? So I'm working on a lot of stuff that I'm going to be putting out after this corona thing is over, and I'm planning a lot of yeah. I'm being very creative right now with my time, and also getting better at stuff that I've always wanted to learn. Still learning how to play the keyboard and learning how to play the bass and doing all these other instruments that now you have this extra free time that you would usually go hang out with your friends, or you would usually go do a gig, but now you can pick up a different instrument. Now you can pick up a different hobby. So I've been doing a lot of that.
So have you, because a lot of your work is music and a lot of those opportunities are now not happening, did you feel any level of stress behind that, anxiety, anything like that?
At first I was a little stressed out because I'm just like what's really going on right now. And so now it's been it feels normal. At first it didn't feel normal. At first it felt like a dream. So right now I'm in a good spot. I know what I'm supposed to do.
That's good. How about you, Ayana?
Honestly, just like thinking emotionally, I feel like I have just a bunch of new free time that I didn't have before, that I'm using to really work on myself and work on my character and work on how I act and present myself to the world, because it's an amazing time for that. Just like learning a new skill. Like I'm not fluent in Spanish, but I know it well enough. So I'm learning like a new language. I'm learning Portuguese because I've always wanted to learn it. And a little bit of like Mandarin, because that's another language I've always wanted to learn too. And just putting my time into something positive instead of letting my mind wander into something negative and like going into a negative tunnel, because I know I could get there, So I'm just trying to stay positive and like keep my mind focused on other things.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you like that from the beginning, or did you transition to this positive mindset? Because I know a lot of people.
Yeah, no, I've always had like a positive mindset, but now I do have a lot more free time to do a lot of the things that I've wanted to do before, just like focusing on like bettering my sewing abilities and learning how to like do another language, like I said, and just learning and just like having a lot more free time and like, spending time with my siblings and my mom, it's just like a positive impact, I guess, emotionally, personally. However,
Yeah.
for a lot of people, it isn't, you know? So I'm
Mhm.
just trying to, you know, encourage others to try to do the same.
Nice. Thank you. How about Miss Nyla?
Just like everybody here, I've been learning to take time to do things for myself. Just to name a few, I've fallen into a couple business endeavors. You know, I'm trying to be a millionaire by the time I'm 30. Another thing is I've also picked up a new instrument. I'm currently learning to play the bass. It's pretty my strength because I haven't been able to get to my nail salon. I have these long nails and it hurts. I'm trying to pluck the strings, but I'm gonna keep pushing through. And yeah.
EJ, how about you?
Yeah, I'm also trying to invest, you know, my time into myself. At first, you know, I ordered a lot of books, you know, mainly autobiographies. I'm also trying to learn how to like I want to learn how to invest in stocks. So, you know, I'm looking at various, you know, tour pages that talk about finance, and you know, just trying to you know, make use of my time. I don't want to just, you know, sit down, just let the time pass by, you know. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, actually, I spent a lot of time with my family, and we've picked up gardening, for example. And I've never grown a garden before, but I'm like, hey, I got time to do it. Why not? Why not grow something in my backyard? You know, and then just, you know, fixing little things, you know, I'm turning into quite a handyman, but I got the time to do it. Yeah.
Right. Right. Now, Nyla talked about something there about the nails and things. I know I miss the nail shops, get my hair done, everything. How has this impacted you guys? Y'all miss going to the barber shops? Like, what's
Oh
up with
man.
all that?
I miss the nail shop because right about now I'd be on my second pedicure and my nails I need a full set. I want to cut these down so bad, but my eyebrows. But good thing is I do know how to do my own hair, so that's a good thing
That's
about
good. That's good. How about you, EJ?
Oh man, yeah, I miss the barbershops. I'm looking really raggedy right now. Only took this time, you know, to look professional, you know, just for this panel. So yeah, it's been a struggle. I can't wait till the barbershops open. I'll be the first one to answer.
Chris
Yeah.
and, Chris and Jaron, how about you guys?
It's not really impacted me much. I'm not one that, you know, at the barbershop every 2 weeks, you know, like some guys are, you know, which a lot of guys are, let me be honest with you. But I do know, you know, it is a struggle, especially listening to the governor yesterday saying that barbershops and nail salons, you know, won't be opening up for months, you know. So it's like, that's a reality check for a lot of people.
Exactly. A lot of people, which I mean, I don't know. I don't understand it, but I feel like they should be able to open, you know, in a safe way. Of course, in a safe way, but something's got to give there. How about you, Jaron? How you feel about it?
You know, I probably would feel worse if I was a barber.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
the fact that, you know, me saying that, oh my God, you know, my haircut, I feel almost selfish saying that because people, these are literally their jobs. You
Right.
know, they
Yep.
go there and every day they give people what they want, you know, and it literally for them to have to close, it's like stepping into their shoes, it's like, okay, you know. So I feel really bad for them, more than I feel bad for myself.
Yeah, because a lot of people that work in that industry, I mean, it's more than just cutting hair. It's more than just, you know, doing somebody's hair or nails. They a lot of times having a conversation. There's, you know,
Right.
lots of things that happen. They might become like your source of just therapy or what have you. So, you know, it's more to it than a lot that we really think about. But when we think about the fact of not having these things as an option, it's like, okay, somebody need to let them back at work, you know,
Yeah.
not just for us, but also for them. You know, it works both ways. Ayana, how about you? How are you feeling?
Honestly, I'm not much of like a pedicure, manicure type of person, but I mean, I just do my nails at home by myself. However, I did take on like a challenge to try to do my own hair, and I did, and I felt accomplished. So that was pretty nice, I guess.
That is good. That is good. That's really good. I haven't figured that one out yet. So lastly, what tips or resources can you all offer other peers, other people to just keep pushing through this challenging time? Because as we heard our governor say, I mean, our stay at home has been extended through what, May 27th or something like that. Every county is like a different date. Everybody's getting cabin fever. Everybody's ready to go outside, and do something. People are missing their church families. They're missing their regular families that can't congregate together. So what tips or what resources do you guys have to help people stay motivated and push through these next few months even? Let's start with you, Chris.
The biggest thing I will say is find time for you. Don't get caught up in the social media, the news, or whatnot. Find some dedicated time to where you can do something that makes you feel good. Everything else will come, especially just speaking as a teacher. I'm being extremely flexible with my students and turning in work because I realize there are more pressing concerns at hand. If you're not well socially or emotionally well, I can't look at academics as being a primary focus in your life, when you're dealing with a chaotic situation at home. So take care of yourself as best as possible, and then everything else will eventually fall into place.
That's good. EJ?
Oh man, for me, I got a couple of tips, especially for a mental aspect for it. You could, I probably advise everyone to do meditation. I'll listen to, relaxing music. Don't try to listen to music that'll tense you up, because we're living in tense times too. So maybe like jazz, something smooth that can relax your mind. In addition to that, exercise. It's also a good tip to to push through the challenge time. I've been doing a lot of jogging, and and hopefully once I get my time together, I want to start doing body weight exercise like push-ups, lifting weights and stuff like that. So exercise is also key for that. In addition to that, stay away from. I probably try to minimize like social media use, especially there's a lot people spread a lot of fear. You don't want to also watch the news every day. Counting the deaths of COVID-19, which could put a lot of stress in your minds because it's pretty bad. Because I think a couple of weeks ago, last month, I think it was a girl from Stockton. I think she killed herself from I think from like the pressures of from COVID-19. I don't think she had it, but she was just kind of stressed out, and I was kind of like, I think she was around 16 years old. I could be wrong, but just hearing that, I was like, wow, like this it's really impacting people way beyond, way younger than me. So don't try to watch the news every day. Take your mind from it. Read a book, exercise, meditate. And keep think positive. That's my tips.
That's good. Thank you. How about you, Jaren?
One of my tips is really just to trust God, because ultimately in this time and in times of, people dying left and right and people getting sick left and right, people think, oh, why is God doing this? And if there was really a God, why is God doing this and that? But, I'm not going to say this is God's plan, because the devil is real. But I can say that trusting in God, we're going to get through this. So if you have a strong belief and you read your word and then you pray, then that's the biggest tip that I can really offer you.
That's awesome. How about you, Miss Ayana?
Honestly, just stay in prayer, speak to God daily. Just do positive affirmations to yourself every day, and then just call other family members, check up on them maybe. And others were saying, just try not to stay on the news. I'm personally a very news aware person. However, it's just so negative during this time that it's too challenging or too emotional to just look at the news. So if that's a struggle for you, just don't do it, so just stay positive and keep yourself motivated to do, pick up a new hobby, just keep your mind busy, an idle mind is a devil's workshop. So just keep moving,
Mm-hmm. Good. Ms. Nyla, how about you?
First, I want to encourage everyone to stay positive. That's the foundation for everything right now. Just stay positive. Like what the rest of my peers say, don't get stuck into the news and social media. Really try to limit your time on that. Number two, this is the time to establish a healthy prayer life. Get right with God, because at the end of the day, He has the final say. He is Alpha and Omega, and He has the power to shift this entire nation, if you know what I mean. So yeah, that's all I can really offer. That's what I'm doing, and it's working well for me.
That's awesome. I just want to thank you guys for participating in this panel discussion. I think it's important to hear the voice of the young people. Everybody's not out there wilding and doing all kind of crazy stuff with their life. We got some young people that are truly living for God and truly doing something positive with their life that will have a positive impact on the community as well. And so we are going to be closing out. I just want to say thank you all. If you guys have anything upcoming, go ahead and take this time to announce it now. If you want people to follow your social media pages, go ahead and rep whatever you got going on at this time. Nyla, I know you got it.
I'm going to say something. In addition to my Fortune Scholars Care project, I also have this mini podcast on Instagram, and you can follow me at _NAISPASPEAKKS. It's called Nice Speaks, and it's where I continue to pour out to everybody, and I just give them encouragement, and everybody sends in topics that they want to talk about, and then I back up what I'm saying with the scripture. So.
Awesome. Next, EJ.
You can follow me on my Instagram page at EHITK2K_Osu on Instagram. I promote positivity. Basically, and some knowledge too.
Awesome. How about you, Chris?
I'm not really doing, anything extra like that, but I mean, you can always follow me at The Real Christian Bradford on Instagram.
Nice. How about you, Darren?
I'm retired. No, I'm not doing nothing too major right now. So.
All right. Well, give us your Instagram so people can follow you and stay up to date with you guys' band and all that stuff.
My Instagram is Jarenheim Jr. You don't know how to spell it, I don't know what to tell you, but it's Jarenheim Jr.
Ayana? I think her. Ayana, can you hear us? I think her screen froze.
I'm not really. My Instagram is
Oh, I think it was a delay. What were you saying?
Oh, I said I'm not really doing anything personally, but my Instagram is _AYANNA. So yeah.
Perfect. Chris, I'm gonna be getting with you about another conversation for standardized testing, because I think that's important to talk about. But thank you all so much. I really appreciate this. I think we need to have more conversations like this. So if you guys are down, or some other young people that got a voice, got something to talk about and positive, spreading positivity and love everywhere especially during this time, let me know. But thank you guys so much. This is available. It will be available on YouTube later on. So you guys a link for anybody to watch the rebroadcast. Go ahead and share it to everybody you know. And once again, thank you guys so much. And I will talk to you guys later.
Take care.
Bye.